Hi, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about what ArrayLists are and how we can use them to create a custom HashMap class. So I've talked about HashMaps in my previous videos. If you're not sure what they are, please go back and watch those. But in this problem, we're going to use ArrayList to design the put, get, and remove functions of a hash map. But to use ArrayList, let's learn what ArrayLists are and all the different functions we're going to be using to solve this question. So ArrayLists are arrays that can mutate. So in Java, when you create that array, you have a set value. So you say that the size of the array is going to be 5 and it's going to stay 5 the whole time. But in ArrayList, the cool thing about it is that you can change the size of the array, which is super powerful. So you can see here if I have numbers 1 through 6, then I can just add 8 here. And but you can't do that in a normal array. So there's a lot of important methods that come with ArrayList that make it as amazing as it is. So first, in order to create it, you just say list, and inside angle brackets, you put the type, and you write the name of the list, and you say that's equal to a new array list. You can also put an array list on the side, but I've noticed that putting a list on the left side and then putting array list on the right side is more common in professional programming and allows for a little bit more functionality when you are going when you're using this for bigger projects. But for what we are using it for today, list or array list are cool. The next is that you take the name of your list and you just do dot add. And pretty self-explanatory, that just adds a value to the end of the array list. Then we have dot get, which gets the value at a certain index. We have dot set, which takes the value at a certain index and changes it to a new value. The next one is dot remove, which removes the value at an index. And we have dot index of value. So you notice that you have a lot of index. So if you have the value and you want to remove it, then you can just do index of value and you can put that index inside remove. So for today, we're going to be using all of these functions in order to create our hash map. So how are we going to create the hash map? Well, in a hash map, we have the key to value pair. So if we have an array list for keys and we have an array list for values, then we can have, if a value in each of the lists have the same index, then they're the key value pair that you would put in the hash map. So that means we're going to have to create two global lists, and they are of the integer type. And don't forget to import java.util.star because that contains the list and the array list imports that you would need. So we just created two lists, one for keys and one for values. Inside the constructor, we're going to have keys be a new array list, and we're going to have values be a new array list. So now we're just going to create a new array list every single time this custom hash map class is called. In order to put a value, we need to just add the value to both keys and values. But if you look in the problem, it says if the value already exists in the hash map, update the value. So one more function that I forgot to mention on the slides is the dot contain. So if I do if keys dot contains key, and what this will do is that it'll see if inside this array list the value of key is there, then we can do something. So this means that it contains the key, and else it does not contain the key. So if it does contain the key, remember we want to change the value, and which function does that? Set. So what we're going to do is that we're going to do values.set. The index is going to be keys.index of key. So we're going to find the index in which keys is inside the key array, because remember the same index in each list correspond to each other. And then the element is going to be the value inside the put method. So let's put that here. And then otherwise, we're just going to add key to keys and value to values. So this is how the put method works. If keys already contains the key, we're going to set the value to a new value. And if it doesn't, then we're just going to add it to the list that we have running. The .get method will get a value and return it. So here it says, if it does not contain the value, return -1, else return the value in that key. So that means that we can just do what we've always been doing. If key.contains key, contains key, then we're going to return values.get keys.index of key. What this will do is that it will get the index of keys and get the value inside that index, because the index correspond to each other. And then else we're just going to return -1, because that means it's not existent there. So if it contains it, we're going to return the value in that index, else we're going to return -1. The last value is .remove. And in the remove, you can see here that says if it contains the key, then remove it. So as you can see, as we've been doing by practice, if keys.contains key, then we're going to do values.remove keys.index of key and keys.remove keys.index of key. The reason we do values first is because if we remove it from keys first, that means we don't have that integer inside the keys array anymore. So we're going to keep the value, but we're not going to keep the key. So it's going to throw an error here. So if you remove it first, you don't have the index to look at. But if you did int index is equal to keys.index of key and then you removed it first, then you would be okay. But because you're doing it directly, it's not, you need to do values first. So that's it. That's how we're going to create our custom hash map using ArrayLists. So hope to see you next week. Bye bye.